Welcome to News You Missed, where we turn yesterday's scroll into today's show. We cut through the chaos, the clickbait and the coffee shortages to bring you the stories you almost cared about.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, the 16th of October 2025. We got stories like peace out in the Middle East yet again. We've got AI and porn. We've also got threats on officials in America from cartels. But let's dive into the news and see where it takes us. Drew, how do you fancy doing the first story of the day?
Well, Paul, first up then, the UK Home Secretary has finally said the quiet part out loud. Britain has lost control of its borders. After years of immigration surges, asylum chaos and failed pledges, Westminster's now trying to sound surprised. Expect a few fiery debates and a handful of resignations, and at least one minister claiming they inherited the borders broken. When your immigration policy needs Google Maps, it's not going well.
My first story, the Department of Homeland Security has warned that Mexican drug cartels are offering bounties of up to $50,000 on ICE and CBP agents. Smaller payments are reportedly being offered for doxing or assaults, while high-ranking officials could fetch up to the full $50,000. Secretary Kristi Noem called it an organised campaign of terror, but vowed we will not back down. The alert comes as legal battles continue over National Guard deployments in Illinois aimed at protecting immigration officers amid rising threats. Well, Drew, you can now start to see this is part of the greater plan. Trump is taking out the drug cartels. He is taking out the gangs. He is taking out everything that made people scared in America. Good on you, President Trump. And trust me, he's got a plan and he is seeing it through.
I hope it comes to the UK.
Me too.
Flying to Moscow, Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara is set to meet Putin, reportedly to discuss Assad's future. That's right, Assad's own allies might be trading him like a political NFT. Expect Russia to call it strategic consultation, which usually means don't ask questions.
And staying on my previous story, President Trump has confirmed he's authorised CIA operations inside of Venezuela. He says it's part of his plan to crack down on drug cartels, accusing President Maduro government of flooding the US with drugs and even emptying their prisons into America. When asked if the CIA is allowed to take out Maduro, Trump called it a ridiculous question, which, let's be honest, it's not exactly a no. The move ramps up tensions with Caracas, which says it's ready to defend against any US action.
Moving to Asia, South Korea just told its citizens don't go to parts of Cambodia after job scams, kidnappings and student deaths turned vacations into thrillers. Other nations may follow. Tourism slogan suggestion, come for the beaches, stay for the ransom note.
The US State Department has revoked visas for several foreigners who celebrated the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The individuals from countries including Germany, Argentina and Brazil allegedly posted messages saying Kirk deserved to die. The State Department said the US has no obligation to host foreigners who wish death on Americans and will continue targeting those who glorify violence. Meanwhile, President Trump posthumously awarded Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom, accepted by his widow, Erica.
Crossing into South Asia, Pakistan launched airstrikes inside Afghanistan's Kandahar province, targeting militant groups it claims are behind border attacks. It's the latest escalation in a long, messy, post-Taliban power struggle. When your foreign policy includes bomb the neighbours, it's not diplomacy, it's dodgeball.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says ChatGPT will soon allow adult content, but only for verified users. The move marks a major policy shift for the AI platform, which has long banned anything erotic. Altman says the company's new safety tools make it possible to treat adults like adults, adding the update will make ChatGPT more useful and enjoyable. The change rolls out in December with stricter age checks. Online reactions were mixed. Some called it progress, others joked that ChatGPT is turning into AI OnlyFans.
Yeah, what do you mean?
So basically, you're going to be able to use ChatGPT to generate porn, search for porn. Who knows what else? Yep. What is it about technology? And all technology ends up being used for porn. It just seems to end up there. It's a crazy one, Drew.
I'm lost for words because at the end of the day, people are using it for certain things. They don't need to add that to ChatGPT. You know, this is another psyop.
Well, who knows? Porn is big money. Porn is big money. Maybe his money train's running out, because we're seeing a lot of news out there that these AI companies are the next .com bubble. They've pumped all this money into it and no one's come up with a sentient AI. The AIs sort of work, but not hugely well. For some tasks, they're brilliant. Other tasks, they're just not great.
I bet you that's going to work 100%.
Well, who knows?
Back in the US, former and current headline magnate Donald Trump says America's in trade war with China. India's agreed to stop buying Russian oil and has approved CIA missions in Venezuela. If history rhymes, expect a tweet storm, a stock dip, and someone in DC Googling how to contain a trade war. It's not diplomacy, it's a group chat with nukes.
Israel says Hamas has returned the wrong body in its latest exchange of remains from Gaza. The IDF announced that one of the 4 bodies handed over Tuesday was not an Israeli hostage at all, but believed to be a Palestinian. The mix-up comes just days after Hamas freed the last 20 living hostages in a major prisoner swap. Israel confirmed the identities of the other 3 victims and says it won't stop until all captives, living or dead, are brought home. Hamas still holds the remains of 21 hostages. I mean, come on. It's now peace. Hand the lot over. And trust me, I'm not Hamas's best friend at all, but why are they sitting there with remains? I mean, is this some sort of sick, twisted power thing? Give the bodies over, let the families put them to rest and move on with their lives. Oh, it's bad taste what Hamas are doing. Bad taste.
Next up in entertainment, Spotify and Netflix are partnering to stream video podcasts. That means your favourite podcasters are about to have faces, and no one asked for that.
Armenian authorities have detained Bishop Mikrich Proshian and 5 other clergymen amid a deepening feud between Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan's government and the Armenian Apostolic Church. The detainees are under investigation for alleged abuse of power, though their current whereabouts remain unclear. Relations between the government and church have sharply deteriorated, with accusations of corruption and political interference on both sides. The Human Rights Office has dispatched a team to assess the situation as tensions continue to rise.
Jumping to Spain, one town has banned adopting black cats before Halloween to prevent so-called ritual misuse. Witchcraft panic in 2025. Next up, Spain bans broomsticks on runways.
My final story, the Dutch government has seized Chinese-owned chipmaker Nexperia after heavy pressure from the United States, according to Politico. The US reportedly demanded the removal of the company's CEO to avoid export restrictions, citing security concerns over semiconductors, which are vital for both civilian and military tech. Nexperia's parent company, WingTech, slammed the move as excessive interference driven by geopolitical bias. The seizure has triggered export restrictions and a drop in WingTech's shares, highlighting growing US-China tensions in the tech sector.
LA County has declared a final state of emergency to help residents hit by federal immigration raids. The IRS might need therapy, Californians might need receipts. And heading down under, Australia's High Court told Candice Owens, no thanks. Apparently freedom of speech doesn't include in-flight Wi-Fi. And now, Paul, to the money where numbers jump, trades sweat and gold glitters like therapy. Give me your first financial news.
Well, we're staying in the UK, Drew. Pensioners get ready to be just rich enough to pay tax, but not too rich to retire to Monaco, thanks to the triple lock. the state pension is rising nearly 5%, nudging the max payout to £12,547, just £22 shy of hitting the personal allowance. In other words, you're a whisker away from giving the taxman a thank you card. Experts suggest staggering withdrawals from private pensions or delaying your state pension because apparently, even in retirement, life is just one clever spreadsheet away from a tax surprise. Do you know what? Pensioners, they're the ones that just get hit with a hammer constantly.
So unfair. Ripple just partnered with Absa Bank in South Africa, marking its first major digital asset custody deal on the continent. This lets banks hold and settle tokenized assets through Ripple's tech, effectively turning XRP's network into plumbing for real-world finance. At the same time, Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD quietly passed $800 million in market cap, showing growing enterprise use even as XRP's price hangs near $2.40 to $2.50. And in the background, over $600 million of XRP moved between exchanges, likely institutional reshuffling ahead of expansion. The outlook: this isn't just about price, it's about infrastructure. Ripple is positioning XRP as the backbone for tokenized assets, the railroads under the next financial system. Custody, liquidity, and cross-border flows are quietly going on-chain. The short-term outlook: expect price chop while regulation and volume catch up. Mid-term: if custody, RLUSD, and tokenized coverage, XRP could lift towards $3 to $5. And the long term: if banks adopt Ripple's rail for settlements, XRP could evolve from a speculative token to a utility reserve. Digital plumbing for institutions. The fundamentals look like 2016 era Amazon. The price looks like 2008 era housing. One's undervalued. Guess which one?
Well, guess what, Drew? Just staying on the crypto roller coaster, Binance is handing out between $4,000 to $6,000 in stablecoins to users wiped out in last week's massive sell-off. Think of it as a consolation prize for losing big while the market went whoops. They're also offering $100 million in low-interest loans to institutions that got caught in the chaos. Binance calls it their Together initiative, which is nice because nothing says we feel your pain like digital dollars after a $19 billion wipeout. So if your crypto dreams crashed and burned, at least there's a tiny silver lining or stablecoin lining.
And Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse isn't slowing down. Speaking at DC FinTech Week, he confirmed Ripple's focus on aggressive growth, hinting at new acquisitions and deeper institutional integration. He reminded everyone that Citibank once debanked him and is now speaking at Ripple's conference. That's not revenge, that's ROI. Meanwhile, crypto bank Earbor just got conditional US approval to operate as a national bank. Reliance Jio, India's telecom titan, partnered with Aptos to bring blockchain rewards to 500 million users. And Coinbase is rolling out the blue carpet, preparing to list BNB pending technical checks. The outlook: this is the era where TradFi and DeFi swap business cards. The bull market isn't coming, it's quietly merging and signing NDAs. And despite heavy US tariffs, China's export jumped at the fastest pace in 6 months. Beijing calls it resilience, Washington calls it unfair advantage. Either way, cargo ships are cheering, and tariffs aren't biting the dragon, they're just giving it abs. When your punishment boosts your exports, you're winning trade judo.
America's Treasury has entered its optimistic era. Treasury Secretary Bessent says he's in close talks with China and expects major gains in jobs and productivity. Translation: we're talking to Beijing and praying to Powell. Outlook: expect policy softening, dollar volatility, and political victory laps. Opinion: Treasury optimism is like diet soda. Sweet for now, bloated later.
And Bitcoin's back near $114,000, Ethereum around 4,100, and total market cap hovering near $4 trillion. Volatility is a new norm, liquidations are the weekend sport, global uncertainty fuels both gold's glow and Bitcoin's bounce. Crypto traders don't take coffee breaks, they are coffee.
And let's talk about the Fed for a minute. Interest rate cuts are on the horizon. Federal Reserve Governor Stephen Miran says 2 more rate cuts this year are realistic. Markets call it hope, economists call it therapy. Outlook: cheaper money ahead, but only if inflation stays ghosted. And my opinion, it's the only time bankers say cutting and everyone cheers.
And my last story, a massive $12 billion Bitcoin futures wipeout rocket the market last week, mostly caused by retail traders, not Wall Street. Analysts call it a reset. Reddit calls it Monday. It's not volatility, it's personality. And finally, to the dark side of the web, Hackers Corner, where your antivirus has trust issues and AI has ulterior motives. Paul, what's your first story?
Well, my first story from the UK. The UK government cybersecurity is under the spotlight after hundreds of passwords and sensitive data appeared on the dark net. Over 700 email addresses from 9 government departments, including Defence, Justice and the DWP, have been exposed. Experts warn the leaks could threaten public safety, critical infrastructure and national security. 9 separate attempts to sell classified military documents have also been reported. Analysts say even one active account could be a doorway for hackers, highlighting the urgent need for stronger cybersecurity.
Next up, Pillar Security released a free AI red teaming playbook teaching how to stress test agentic AI systems. It's already making defenders smarter and attackers faster. It's like a cookbook for hacking AI. Bon appetit, Skynet.
2 MIT brothers on a trial in Manhattan for a $25 million crypto heist, but they're claiming, hey, it's just clever trading. Prosecutors say Anton and James Pereira spent months outsmarting Ethereum transactions, turning other people's crypto into digital monopoly money. Their defense: they were just beating predatory trading bots at their own game, a bit like chess, but with millions of dollars and no rules. The court will decide criminal masterminds or just extremely nerdy financial geniuses. Well, Drew, this is it, isn't it? We're seeing crypto now becoming fully mainstream. We're seeing scammers getting closed down. We're seeing, dare I say it, dodgy trading getting closed down. We're getting close to the big adoption.
And a Chinese apt group nicknamed Jewelbug hid inside a Russian IT firm for 5 months, exfiltrating data to Yandex Cloud. The cyber Cold War just got a weather update, frosty with a chance of betrayal. When allies hack allies, the only real currency is trust, and nobody's rich. And that's your Hackers Corner, where paranoia pays off and passwords never die of an old age. If you need to know more about the hacks and scams and cybersecurity and how to keep safe, join me on my Patreon. The link is in the description.
Well, everybody, that was the news you missed on Thursday, 16th of October, 2025. Join us on the Insiders Club, where we dig into what's really going on out there in the world. And you'll be surprised. It's not what you think, because I've definitely had my eyes open. So we'll see you all over on charlieward.com, where we are live every Wednesday and Saturday. And this Saturday, we have on Ben Palmer, who's going to give us an insight into what's going on out there in the spiritual world. So all that's left for me to say is to take care, God bless, and see you all soon. Bye now.
Stay curious, stay skeptical, and if you can't afford therapy, watch the markets instead. But for now, bye-bye.